Spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have our blue Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Trying to face off against his arch nemesis, MaxPax. But trying to retake what was once known as the Big Gabe Weekly. His opponent lower right in the red for Mouse Sports is HeroMarine. Yeah, once upon a time, HeroMarine just won these every single week. The only times he wouldn't win was like occasionally Rainer would pop in and take a victory. Sometimes Clem, I think, but back in those days, Clem's TVT was not nearly as good as HeroMarine's, so Clem usually wouldn't be the one to beat him. But, you know, HeroMarine would fall occasionally, but he won more often than he lost for a while. In fact, there was a period of time where he had like half the victory, so he was at like 50% win rate in the EU Cup for a little while. But as of late, it certainly has been the Clem and MaxPax show. This whole year since they've I guess they start the season in like March or something. After Katowice. Since then, I don't know if HeroMarine has won any. You know, I was just looking at the results. Let's see. Okay, HeroMarine has won a couple. But the last time HeroMarine won was April 17th. He won April 3rd and April 17th. And he hasn't won since then. He did make it to the finals a few weeks ago where he fell to MaxPax. But yeah, it's been a while for HeroMarine, considering he still has some of the most total wins in the ESL Open Cups. Let's take a look here. Before we get into anything super exciting. HeroMarine, he has the second most wins in the Europe Cup. The number one, though, is Clem. Clem has actually won more Open Cups in Europe than anybody else. MaxPax is actually at number 3. I think Clem rose to prominence a little bit before MaxPax really had his final step up into the top tier, the upper echelon. He was a very high-level Protoss for a long time, but didn't quite make that leap to being the best Protoss in Europe, or even the best Protoss in the world, until a little bit more recently. So Clem had some victories before MaxPax was really getting in there. But these days, we do expect Clem and MaxPax in the finals. Again, it's actually been longer that HeroMarine hasn't won an Open Cup than it has been that either Clem or MaxPax were in the finals, but they're in the finals. One of them is in the finals almost every single week, and they're both in the finals together quite often. It's, you know, it's very predictable. Very predictable. We'll see if Big Gabe can stop that, though. TVT, I think, is going to be his best shot. I mentioned earlier that Clem used to struggle a little bit with Gabe in TVT, but things have changed, not only for Clem, maybe getting a little better at the matchup, but in the matchup itself, I think things have gotten very different and maybe a little bit better for Clem. But as I say that, HeroMarine holds on to this drop very, very nicely, pushing the medevac away. Clem does get out of there with 3 Marines in that medevac, but ends up being a nice little trade for him. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the Hellion Reaper action earlier on. My bad. I was too focused on the results. Clem gonna keep an eye on the middle of the map with a few Marines. He's got some nice vision right now. But it looks like both players are sharking around with Ravens looking for something to do. So this is a big difference from how we used to see these matchups go. I feel like it used to be you'd always keep your Ravens at home, and only kind of the bold players would send a Raven out to drop auto turrets. But these days, it's much more common to see this kind of auto turret harass. We're going to see a few SCVs go down here. I don't know where Clem's Raven. It looked like he was going to do that as well. This time the auto turret not going to get quite as much damage done, but it's still for free. That Raven is still alive. Where are Clem's Ravens? He's got one at home. Okay, the other one's back at home too. It looked like Clem was going to be out on the map trying to do some of his own harassment, but keeping everything back at home. That does mean he's going to have more energy than HeroMarine. But I don't know if that's going to end up being too relevant. Clem will be able to shut down all of HeroMarine's tanks, but HeroMarine's right now moving into position. Actually, the tanks are a little bit far behind. And this is a nice movement from Clem. This has actually worked out really well for him. HeroMarine trying to take this base. Oh, Vikings getting killed over on the right-hand side, but HeroMarine going to try to jump on the siege tanks. He gets one. Can he get two? No, it gets picked up in the medevac, and Clem moves it back into position, still stopping this third base from going down. HeroMarine diving forward with the Vikings again. Now he's got the Viking lead. Clem decides to go up into the main base. He picks up into the medevac, but he's going to lose everything down here on the low ground because of it. Very painful, but can he get some damage done in the main base to make up for it? Looks like some SCVs going to get pulled into the fire here. Quite a few of them going down. Clem getting some good economic damage done before lifting up to get out of there. He wants to keep the pressure on too. That's such a bold move. But considering HeroMarine's pulling everything back, it's going to work out beautifully. He can absolutely just shut this tank down or just land on it, I guess. Targets it down. The auto turret's helping buffer for the Vikings and for this tank to siege up. I think the drop was handled back in the main base, but this base is in a lot of trouble. HeroMarine is repairing it, so it will not go down. But it looks like HeroMarine's going to be able to clear this out finally. Although that was a little more painful than he had expected it to be. Gabe ends up ahead in the army supply. Clem has sacrificed a lot of army supply to get this done. But Clem has more workers, and he's got his third base now seated. So Marines pushing the Vikings away, not running into the tank fire, which the tank is very far back, actually. HeroMarine gonna unsiege as he can try to push out. But Clem's leaving, at least for the time being anyways. Clem on that superior economy should be able to catch up in the army supply at least a little bit. But it's not a huge lead for him. And HeroMarine did have a nice lead there for a little while. Until those SCVs got killed. Game feels like it's settling now. And we're getting into that solid TVT mid-game where a lot of those early game trades, they end up not really to matter. And honestly, this game feels very even now. A lot of this is going to come down to the next engagements. Because as these supplies climb, those slight differences from earlier, you'd feel like they, I don't know, have like a butterfly effect. And they matter more and more and more. It's just really not the case here. In TVT especially, I feel like little bits of army supply leads or little bits of worker supply leads, they just don't matter a lot of times as the game continues on. You have more opportunities usually if you, say, have more Marines, or if you have more workers maybe. You can take trades a little more easily. But in general, it's not going to be the biggest deal. What it does come down to a lot of times is who has more tanks. And of course, who gets their tanks in the better position. Right now, HeroMarine's up a couple of siege tanks. The positioning of the tanks is everything. And if you have more tanks, it's just easier to get that positioning. That's what makes TVT such a chess game. It's all about where those tanks are positioned. If the Marines can get on top of them. If maybe they can get sieged up without the opponent knowing where they are. I love how they're both just posturing with their Marines here. HeroMarine obviously has a lot more out here right now. But Clem dodging the Marines, and he's got a second little group of Marines over on the left-hand side. But now Clem has nothing back at home to defend this fourth, and that is just a dead fourth base. I'm pretty sure these Marines can gun that down. The tanks are going to siege up. They will not be able to save it. Just sending those Marines away. Clem wants to kind of trap these units here now. And he is going to catch them on the backside on the retreat. HeroMarine has nowhere to go. He's going to lift up into the medevacs, but it looks like he's going to lose these medevacs anyways. Down they all go. Every single one of those Marines dying. I still think it was worth it. He was trading with a lot of the Marines of Clem, and killing that 4th CC is hugely, hugely valuable. HeroMarine's got his own up. He's turning it into a planetary, and now he just has to defend this counter push from Clem. The supplies are pretty much dead even across the board even. Look at that. That is wild. Such similar compositions. Again, it really comes down to positioning. I like that Clem is getting aggressive with this, though, forcing HeroMarine to finally move some of these tanks. I don't know if I like HeroMarine leaving all 3 of these tanks here. Does Clem have tanks back at home? It looks like he's got 1 or 2 trying to hold on against this. But HeroMarine in position, sieging up his tanks. One thing Clem does still have going for him is he's got 2 Ravens full of energy. That's 4 shutdowns. HeroMarine going to try to jump on a couple of tanks. He gets 1, he gets 2. The rest of HeroMarine's Marines will die, though, and Clem still has a lot left alive. Meanwhile, this little force over here seems to be getting held by the Marines and the tank of Clem. The 2 Ravens still almost fully maxed out on energy. This one seemed to have used his spell. But Clem, the problem for Clem is he's only on 3 siege tanks right now. He is going to have a little position on the mineral line. That's so annoying, actually. Oh, but HeroMarine going to try to dive in on top of this, forcing Clem to stim, but he's going to lose the tanks on the top side, and now it's just Marines down here with the 1 tank for support. But Clem says, hey, you left an opening, an opportunity. These tanks that were left here not in position to defend this 3rd base. And oh no, the 3rd CC looks like it's going to fall. The SCV's there for repair, and they will save it. Clem can't keep pushing in. He's dying to these tanks. Same time, Clem's still over on the left-hand side. He's got 1 tank here. He's pulling HeroMarine back and forth. And through all of this, Clem has taken a 40 supply lead, almost entirely in army. He's able to mine just happily on his 4th base, and he keeps stopping HeroMarine from having full mining. Clem decides to finally pull back on this side. HeroMarine will clean this up. Not at the expense of that tank, but still I think Clem's okay with that trade. He's up 50 supply right now. Clem is in a commanding position in this game. Things were so even for so long, but Clem's big push ended up working out very well for him, pulling HeroMarine completely out of position, allowing Clem to get in on both sides and get some damage done, just take good trades. Oh, Clem does not have vision. Oh, he'll finally kill that tank, actually saving both of his tanks. That 1 Marine dropped out, tried to get the damage done, wasn't quite able to do it. If Clem can keep these tanks alive, that's actually kind of huge right now. Even though Clem's already up so much, losing tanks is always painful. And it's 11-11. These 2 Ravens feel like they should be very impactful, but so far I don't think they've shut anything down. Clem now pulling around. He's taking a base over here. He's taking a base over here. My man is triple expanding. What a god. You never see it. You never see it. Look at him go, dude. He's taking his whole side of the map, and he's going to double pressure again. Diving in, finally, those Ravens using those spells, shutting down 2 of the tanks. The other 2 sure to follow. This planetary can hold for a while, actually. I don't know why Clem's really trying to fight into this, but it's not going to matter. He's hitting on the other side as well. And GG gets called as HeroMarine just can't hold both locations. Honestly, even with all his forces on one side, I'm not sure he could hold one side. Clem was just too far ahead at that point. And he takes game number 1. What felt like such an even game, kind of in that middle stage where we graduated from the early game to the mid game. The game felt very even. If anything, Clem maybe was a little bit behind. He just pulls it right back around. HeroMarine getting some damage done with his Marines in there, killing that 4th CC, but Clem's counter just did way more. Ended up doing way more damage, and it was all army damage, which doesn't always feel super important in a TVT. but it allowed Clem to move around on the map and have a lot more freedom on the map. And that's a dangerous thing to give Clem. Any of the Zerg players in Europe will tell you, you can't let Clem be free out on the map. You have to try to keep him at home. HeroMarine wasn't quite able to do that. And I think a big part of that is all those Marines that were out on the map earlier in the game. Clem was able to clean those up, so he didn't have to leave anything at home to defend the Marines. He had killed them all. He didn't have to focus on chasing them around and trying to find the medevac. He killed them right away and immediately counter-pushed. And that's such a powerful thing to do if you get the chance. HeroMarine, I think, sad that he got those Marines caught, and I think that's the point of the game where it really turned in Clem's favor. Now we're getting into game 2. We're going to Babylon here. Join our players. On the map, on location. We're on location here on Babylon, and well, right now we're looking at the base of Clem in the lower right-hand corner. He's, of course, a Team Liquid player on the Mlem clan, as you expect him to be. Now, why don't we take a quick little jaunt up here to the upper left-hand corner, the upper west side, you might say, of Babylon, where, of course, Mousesports has their star player. They've been together a very, very long time. In the red, it's none other than the largest of Gabes, HeroMarine. Now you see this base right here. This base goes for about 400 minerals. And it's all location, location, location. Because this base, not only can it create more SCVs, but it can mine minerals and mine gas. If this very same base was, say, down here, wouldn't be nearly as valuable. Wouldn't be nearly as important. And we see our French Terran player understands the concept of location just as well as his German counterpart, with his main base being the exact same location, but just on that lower east side. The lower east side these days, really up and coming in the real estate world. The upper west side, of course, has been the main base for a long time for a lot of people. It's a wonderful, wonderful location. I will say a location I'm not fond of is this supply depot here, blocking the potential add-on of this barracks. Gonna force HeroMarine to lift and land this barracks if he wants to build an add-on, and that's just wasted time. Wasted time. Usually we're expecting the Germans to be very efficient, but alas, not in this case. In this case, it is the French being more efficient than the Germans. Oh, that's a brand new sentence nobody's ever said before. Clem going for some Hellions. Alright, I feel like I should focus on this game a little bit. Okay, so Clem scouted the second barracks finishing up. I was wondering why HeroMarine didn't build any Reapers. He built one, right? Yeah, so now Clem is playing defensively, expecting like 3 Reapers to show up. And HeroMarine is just going straight into the reactor in the tech lab and getting into Marines. It's very funny. A good hot swap there by HeroMarine. That's why he built the barracks next to the supply depot like that. He wasn't expecting to want the add-on so quickly, but he changed it up. That last second change up. It's a nice position for these units to be holding, but that does mean the bunker doesn't have a lot in it. Clem could try to go past the bunker, but instead he's going to jump up here, jump down here. See how he jumps down there? See, Uppatry could learn a lot, because on this map he tried to do the same thing, but he just like jumped through. You know you can just like go back, right? It is a possibility. But Clem just holding up front here. Just chilling. HeroMarine getting into those Marines. Did he build a Cyclone? Yeah, he did. He did build a Cyclone. It's important for defending these bases. I'm going to go for some of that Raven harass. Interesting in games like this to see how the different players use their very different unit set. I think we're used to in TVT seeing a lot of the same units. It's just the same units versus the same units. But it's interesting to see a different opening like this out of HeroMarine, where he's going to have a very powerful Marine presence in a little while. Once he gets that stim out. And even with tanks, obviously tanks very good against Marines. It can be very difficult to defend things like drops. This is exactly what we're going to see out of HeroMarine. This has turned into a 2-on-1. Oh, that's Y block was very annoying. But it's going to have, yeah, like a 16 Marine with stim, double drop. And Clem's going to have to be very defensive against this. He's trying to keep an eye out on the map right now. But those units were pushed away in the center. Raven coming back in for another auto turret. So it looks like it will be able to get down. No problemo. Double drop heading towards the main base. There is one siege tank here. There are a few Marines as well. Clem has some units in position. This could actually be very bad for HeroMarine, depending on how this goes. The auto turret's getting some good damage. 6 more SCVs going down here. And HeroMarine, every time he just waits is not good. Clem's just getting more and more units out. I will say he's not really defending the main all that well right now. Oh my god, another auto turret. 9 SCVs now going down because of this. Clem dives in. He sees that there's a bunch of units here and isn't going to get much more damage done. 10 workers. God. And HeroMarine is just chilling. Like, this feels like such a mistake. He's had so much time to get in, get on top of the siege tank, maybe get some SCV kills. But now Clem is poised to scout this. And yeah, he's going to see these 2 medevacs. I don't know if he knows they're full of Marines, but HeroMarine's going for it. He's waiting for the other 2 medevacs. Oh my god. Oh, he's going to try to get on top of the medevacs. But HeroMarine starts unloading, revealing everything that's in here. But there's 2 tanks back here for Clem. He's going to pull the boys. There's so many Marines he's pulling into, though. Oh, I think HeroMarine might just have too much. His army supply conquering that of Clem. Clem just doesn't have enough here. He does have a couple of tanks up on the high ground. He's going to be able to defend up here pretty decently. Oh, this is a real problem for Clem. All those SCVs he killed earlier just not mattering. There's too many Marines here for HeroMarine. And it looks like we're going to be heading towards Game 3. I don't see a way for Clem to break this right now. I mean, how does he move down here? There's a 3rd tank for HeroMarine. He's got so many more Marines. And every second that goes by is just better for HeroMarine. He's mining more. He's got a 3rd CC on the way. He's building more units. I feel like another auto turret's going down, but I don't think that's going to be enough to equalize here. The Liberator trying to buy time, but Clem, he's in the corner. Nobody puts Baby in a corner, but I guess HeroMarine puts Clem in the corner. Clem's going to try to take another base. He had that 3rd CC up and running. But HeroMarine's just going to slowly push him back. Going to hold the natural. HeroMarine did scan and saw this command center leaving. I wonder if he'd send just a few Marines over there, because otherwise Clem's going to have a little bit of free mining. Clem really wants to retake this base, but I mean, he can't do that right now. There you go. Oh, the Liberator. Gonna get gunned down at the expense of quite a few Marines, but well worth it for HeroMarine to get that kill. The CC's in some trouble. I don't know why Clem landed that. This command center had to be lifted and pulled back because, yep, HeroMarine just sent one thing at it. I mean, this game is unfortunately over. I don't see any way for Clem to bust out of this and get any meaningful damage done across the map. If he had like 65 army supplies sitting in his main, maybe. But even then, HeroMarine's just dropping in the main base. He doesn't even need to do this, but he's just getting so much damage done. And, I mean, that's got to be it. Clem's got to tap out, right? Clem's going for the fantasy GG timing here. He's like, no, I'm still getting SCV kills on the other side of the map. His Raven has 16 kills. This one has 15. He has killed 31 SCVs with these Ravens. But it actually just doesn't matter. He's stuck on one base right now. He's going to run out of mining soon. Oh, my God. He's going to run out of mining. Yeah, I mean, this is it, right? Like, there's no way. There's just no way. He's sending one medevac across the map. HeroMarine lost 5 more workers. It's 51-16, guys. Clem is going to be at a third the supply. All right, GG. I don't know what made him GG finally, but we were just waiting for it. We were just waiting. Clem maybe thought it was a worse position for HeroMarine than it was. Maybe he saw the third base. I don't know. Well, let's go to game 3. Yeah, Sal's always catching strays. That's just what he does. You know, he's really good at throwing, but nobody talks about his catching arm. Because we're all throwing strays at him all the time, and he just keeps on catching them. Can we get some jugger catches in the chat? RIP that emote. That emote was such a banger. I miss it. I miss jugger catch. I mean, it's no jugger dance, but... it was pretty good. All right, game 3. We're going to Ancient Cistern. As soon as our players are ready. There we go. Easy peasy. All right. Game number 3 it is. To determine which Terran will be facing off against MaxPax in the grand finals. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we've got Team Liquid's Clem. His opponent in the upper right-hand corner in the red is none other than Mousesport's HeroMarine. These two guys, obviously both very strong. 2 of the strongest Terrans in Europe. No surprise to see them fighting it out in the semifinals here. Oh, Clem going for the cheeky 2 racks, but hey, look at that. HeroMarine going for the cheeky 2 racks as well. Both players building them in their bases. Are we going to have 2 racks Reaper against 2 racks Reaper here? Ah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Well, this should be a fun interaction. I don't know if I've ever actually seen this. I know I've seen like a in-base 2-Rex Reaper against a proxy 2-Rex Reaper. But okay, so Clem's going to be the one to SCV scout. He's going to spot the 2-Rexes out of HeroMarine. But it's HeroMarine that doesn't know what Clem is doing now. So it's slight advantage for Clem that he knows what he's up against. He could just try to play defensively with this and try to get a quick advantage in the Reaper battle. Well, it looks like he's going to join up with the SCV. Oh, I see that Jugger curl in chat. I like to see that one. Very few people know about that emote. It's an all-time banger. What? Did HeroMarine just kill? Was that an Artosalope or a Tastalope? How dare he? I cannot believe HeroMarine would do such a thing. Killing the critters is already sacrilege. I don't care about this. Clem, I hope you win. I'm rooting for Clem now. Killing an Artosalope or a Tastalope. That's a dirty move, Gabe. That's a dirty move. Artosis and Tasteless are the godfathers of StarCraft. How dare you? How dare you kill their representation in the game? Who do you think you are? Small Gabe. This is now Small Gabe. Ugh. Can't believe it. Cannot believe it. The disrespect. Well, I'm shook now. I've been shaken. I think this has gone slightly better for Clem, but it's hard to tell. No, you know what? He's lost more stuff. All right. He's going to try to jump back up here. The Hellion taking a lot of damage. That actually means the Reapers do very well. All right. GG. Okay. Yeah, that's what you get, HeroMarine. That's what you get. Losing a 4-minute game against Clem. Yeah, you deserve that. For killing the critter. Can't believe it. Can't believe you would do such a thing.